morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome to the Fly With Us podcast. This podcast is bringing the art of conversation, self-love, self-care, mental health care and protection, life lessons, love lessons, and everything in between. Today, we're going to talk about, like it or not, we got Kamala. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Kryptonite, y'all.
Okay, so everybody's all up in an uproar. I like her. I don't like her. She's black. She's not black. Like it or
Listen,
not. This
listen. Okay, look. Am I doing it before I start diving into something? Am I doing a mindfulness minute right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
That'll set the tone, I guess.
Okay. So our mindfulness minute is be open to change. Okay. Our lives today are driven by change, globalization, new technology, and the fast-moving nature of just about everything. People change too. Our children grow up before our eyes, and parents seem to age too quickly. Change in our lives is not just inevitable, it's an opportunity to grow and progress. Recognizing this as a fact of life can be liberating and life-changing. Rather than being daunting, all of this newsness can bring excitement and interest into our lives. At the same time, it can help us master fresh skills, gain knowledge, and improve relationships. Along with change comes options. So recognize there will be unknown and approach change positively with an open mind. The old you will still be there, but a new and improved form. Please excuse me because this print is small and my eyes are old. But yes, let's be open to change. Okay, let's talk about one thing at a time. So let's first address this issue of blackness. Okay. I don't give a damn. First of all, whether or not you think she black, the white folk think she black. Whether or not she's black enough for us, she too black for them.
True.
So when we talking about all this blackness, she ain't black, what? Like, what are y'all talking about? Okay, first of all, people, I was listening to a podcast. It's the Karen Hunter show. And I have to apologize because I can't remember the woman's name. I want to say her name was Carla, but I can't remember what her last name was. But the point is, it was a Karen Hunter show, and it was pretty much about the same thing as far as Kamala Harris and her ability to fill this position and how Black folks are feeling about it. And there was an interesting point that the guest speaker brought up. We're always making a discernment about what type of Black we are. Mm-hmm. Dominican, Cuban, Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? Whether you from the Bahamas or the Caribbean or you Haitian or we always talking about different types of Black.
Right.
That only matter to us Black folk, to other, you know what I'm saying? It's only an issue amongst Black people. Because when a policeman pull your Black ass over, he don't care what Black you are. He don't ask you, are you from the islands? Because if you from the islands, I won't hit you as hard. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. What the hell difference does it make? That's one. And then the second thing is, we are all derived from the same place. We all came from the same place. When we got on them ships, we didn't all get off at the same port.
Right.
Somebody stopped in North Carolina, and his brother, his sister, his tribesmen, some of them was taken to the Caribbean. We didn't all get off in the same place. But that don't mean that we ain't still related, we ain't still connected. We just don't know it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So all of this, she's not Black enough, and what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Because when it comes down to it, the system that is set up for your failure Don't care whether your black ass came from the Caribbeans or from down the block in Ohio or from off the block in Brooklyn or
Right.
from North. You see what I'm saying? This system that is set up for your failure as a black body does not care where that black body came from. They just don't want it to get no further in life than where it is right now. They could care less where it originated.
Agree.
But we have to recognize that we all originated from the same place.
Right. And if you look at it, based on, the quote unquote black experience, her mother, she gives mad props to her mother, said, my mother raised me and my sister as black women and to be strong black women because she knew that anybody who looked at us was only going to see us as black. So growing up, she's had the black experience. She went to an HBCU. She joined, a black sorority. So her life, is one that has been surrounded by blackness. And like you said, when she gets pulled over by the police, they're not going to go, well, is your mom Indian and your dad's Jamaican? Because maybe we only go hit you on one side of your head and not the other side because only half of you was black.
Exactly.
That was kind of like the same conversations that they had about Obama. He's too black or he's not black enough. But they ain't gonna let Pookie and Day Day from the middle of the hood get up there and, and be president. So what is black enough? And really, why does it matter? So if we stripped away her color and her race and all of those things, she's a woman. So don't we just got to give props that he picked a woman in the first place because he could have picked a white man and kept the status quo?
No. And I'm going to tell you why. We can't, because this move is a move specifically to get black votes. If black people have never known what their vote means, they should know it now. Because there ain't no way in hell was these people thinking about, had a fantasy of picking a black VP at any point in this campaign. What, nobody think that shit was not on their radar ever?
No, because even, in the Democratic debates, Biden and Kamala went at each other pretty hard. So I know she wasn't on his radar, as far as a VP, because she was giving it to him and he was giving it right back. But
which is awesome. You know what I'm saying? That's awesome. And which is why I have hope for her. I have hope for her. I mean, she's not necessarily, I can't sit up here and be like and say that I'm super thrilled and she was she was a number one pick for me, because she wasn't. But that's where the mindfulness moment come in. You got to be open to change. Right. Open your mind to change, because now let's get into the why people are having an issue with Kamala, because they're going based off of her record as an attorney general, right?
Yes.
But let's look at her record as a senator.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? As a district attorney general, it's just the bullshit. And I think what would help her in this campaign and what will help her to get black folks to chill is if she just admitted to her shit. If she just was like, some shit happened. Yeah, it went down like that, but I came up with this, and this. You know what I'm saying? As I did that as an attorney general, and I'm not proud of that record. You know what I'm saying? And yes, there were some things that occurred that really shouldn't have occurred. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not proud of that. But as a state senator, the legislature that I passed to help correct some of those negative actions, or to help correct some of those situations that led to people being in those negative situations. You see what I'm saying? We can hold her accountable. We should. But the question is, do you hold it? How long do you hold it against them? You know what I'm saying? Not to the point that you forgive them, but to the point that you can accept what they did, but also see that they have made changes to try and change their mindset or reform something that was unjust.
Right, and I think it goes back to what you said. I think for her, the biggest thing that she needs to do is to address it, because it is like the big purple elephant in the room. So she needs to say, yeah, I did my job as a prosecutor. Maybe I did my job a little too well, when it came to locking people up and giving them extra time. I was doing my job blindly, because in a lot of ways, she's just like, okay, here's the crime, here's the whatever. I got to do what I got to do. I'm supposed to, be hard on crime or whatever, and not always. Like, I don't think she was looking at individual circumstances. And then as she,
I believe as she became a senator, that is something that she started to do. And who knows, maybe that, for all we know, maybe that was part of her strategy. Maybe that, like how they say casualties of war, maybe that was part of her strategy to get where she needed to be to make a more effective change the way she wanted to make it. Because, and I give you an example, in St. Louis, here we go. There is a DA in St. Louis. Her name is Kim Gardner. She has a lawsuit right now against the state of St. Louis, and I think we talked about this before, but I couldn't remember her name. And I said she was in Indiana. That's what it was. She's not in Indiana. She's in St. Louis, and she's got a lawsuit that is invoking the KKK Act law of 1871. It was passed during the Reconstruction after slavery, and basically it stops discrimination from a person of color being able to do their job effectively, like to run businesses, or to have business, or to be in business and be stopped from doing their job because of the color of their skin. And basically, that's what's going on in St. Louis right now. Right now, I want to say I think there's two district attorneys, and one of the district attorneys is suing her, saying that she's not doing her job, that she's too ambitious and she's doing too much at her job. Okay, they've got her office under investigation, trying to find some kind of way that they can like dismiss her or fire her, but they don't have anything on her. And basically all of this stems from a case that she was working on, where she found that there was enough evidence to release the person from jail because it exonerated them from the crime. And they don't want her doing that.
Right.
And she's and that's what she's been doing. So they've been having a problem with that. And so now they're trying to just strip her of all of her duties and just trying to just get her on up out of there, period. But see, and see, she was a DA. Just like Kamala was a DA. And we don't think about these things that we go through, not just as Black people, but also as Black women. We still have shit working against us, even when we get in those high-paying positions.
Right.
And if you're not flowing the way that they want you to flow, if you're not doing things the way that they want you to do things, then the repercussion is that they're going to find a way to get rid of you. You know what I'm saying? Does that make it okay to like stack evidence to get somebody and put an innocent person in jail? Not at all. It don't make it okay at all. But you also, I mean, you kind of see what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Maybe at the time she didn't have the guts to stand up for what she truly believed in, like Kim Gardner does. But does that mean that she hasn't reframed and reformed and has decided that that's the stance she wants to take now as a senator? Because since then she's been leading the charge in a lot of cases when it comes to social justice reform.
Yeah, I think anybody can change, because if we're gonna, if we tear down her because of her record and her past, then we got to get Biden as well, because he did the same thing. He signed the crime bill. He made racist comments about how he didn't want his kids to go to school with Black kids because he didn't want it to become a race jungle. Like, who says stuff like that? Now,
white people.
He has since apologized. But is that enough? And even if Kamala comes out and says, hey, I'm sorry, I was wrong, I did my job a little too well, is that enough for people to be like, oh, okay, we welcome you with open arms.
I don't think anybody should I don't think any of us should welcome her with open arms. That's our problem. We gotta stop doing that shit right there. Quit welcoming motherfuckers with open arms. You know what I'm saying? Even when they look like us, like they say, everybody that look like you ain't for you.
Right.
Just because they your skin folk, that don't make them your kin folk. We gotta stop doing that stuff. Quit sitting up there and just because they black. Just same way we gotta stop thinking that just because they black, they gonna save us. Ain't nobody gonna save us. We gotta say this is another issue of she's not black enough. She ain't Martin Luther King enough. She ain't Malcolm X enough. So she can't save us. But it's not about her saving us. It's about us saving us. It's about us recognizing who is the best set of candidates for this election. Do you really want to go through another 4 years of Trump and Pence?
No.
And I say that because I believe we are in a new dawn where we are now more politically energized than we ever had been before. And I gotta love this younger generation because this younger generation is really trying to bring it. Like if we are paying attention, the younger generation is building political parties. There's the Color of Change, there's Black Lives Matter, there's another political party, and I think we touched on it before. I'd have to go back in my notes to see exactly what that was we were talking about, or who it was we were talking about when we were talking about a black political party that was just coming. It was a group of young people that was just coming about, but I can't remember. I can't remember what episode that was. But anyway, the point is that we as black people are making moves, and we are trying to get ourselves together politically, and we are trying to get on the same accord. That's another thing too. We spent all this time bickering about the little insignificant bullshit. Who's black enough? When it doesn't matter. It don't make a difference. What about her record? Yes, I understand the record. That's more of an issue than her blackness. Please believe me. That's more of an issue. But we can see where she has made positive change since that record as a DA, for one. We can see on TV where she has went after people. You know what I'm saying? Like when she went after Jeff Sessions. When she was doing the cross-examinations that we see on CNN all the time. You know what I'm saying? We see that she's been aggressive in going after those people that have been dishonest and that have been causing a ruckus in our government as it stands right now. She sits on committees right now. You know what I'm saying? So like, why do we give everybody else a pass except one another?
Yeah.
Paula Dean that bitch made cakes, and we sat up there and said, "Oh, you call one of us a nigga? Well, we love your pound cake, Paula, so come on back."
But one of the things that I'm always talking to people about too is that we often forget when we get into these situations where we're bickering about who's better for this or who's not better for that. We leave out the fact that whoever is the president, they have to be the president of the United States, which means they got to be president for people that you don't agree with. They got to be president for people that you might not necessarily like. And there isn't going to ever be a president in the history of presidents that is going to say, I'm only going to look out for one race of people, and that's that, or one type of people.
And there should not be. There should not be that. But what there should be, and what there is about to be, because young people are taking this initiative, is a couple of different organizations within the Senate that's going to be looking out for the interests of black people.
Right.
Now, we didn't do this. We didn't do this before. We didn't do this when the civil rights movement came about. We didn't have anybody. We had one person sitting in the Senate, that had the ear of Congress. One person. He wasn't backed by nobody. We only had one person. And I believe, I want to say a name, but I don't want to be wrong in the name that I say. So I'm gonna keep my mouth shut, even though I really want to say it, but I'm not sure how correct I would be in saying that name. And I don't want to, because it's between two people and I'm not sure which one it is.
Okay.
So
That's
I
good.
don't want, yeah, yeah. But during the '60s, there was one person that basically that had the ear that was in Congress that could get our points across, that could get that could get what we wanted across. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
now we are coming into the a dawning of a time where basically, baby, politics is about to fade to black because we got at least three good organizations right now that's really trying to make a come up as far as making the voices of black and brown people heard in the Senate and in Congress, and trying to get our demands across to those people that makes our laws. I mean, and my thing is, if you've had enough, to act like you've had enough and start standing up for yourself and do something for yourself. Quit waiting for somebody else to come along and carry your ass across the threshold.
Yeah,
It don't work that way.
we talked about that. We said there is no savior that's coming. You
But
gonna save
nobody's
yourself.
believing it. Yeah, nobody's believe. We have to be like they say, kneel on. We have to kneel on their neck too. We have to be political bulldogs to make sure that we are getting people in there that's going to do what we need. And if they're not going to do it, we got to start voting them out. We got to start supporting candidates that we like. We got to start researching candidates and making sure that they're representing our views and our values and what we want and things like that. And we have to start holding these people to the fire. And it starts locally. It starts locally
Absolutely.
getting out there and voting. You know what I'm saying? We got to do that. I at first I was all about I ain't voting in this election. You know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna matter. I'm gonna start my local election. I'm just gonna vote locally and forget about the presidential election. Except this presidential election, we really cannot afford to do that.
Right.
And what people don't understand about that, I'm not going to vote during this presidential election. When you don't vote and you are in, say, a swing state, your non-vote is a default vote for the sitting president. So basically that means if you are a person that does not vote and your state, say the electoral party in your state usually votes Republican.
Yeah.
If there's not, you know what I'm saying, if your non-vote will swing that Republican vote into it swings the vote into the seat of whomever is sitting as president at that time. So if the president is a Republican and this is a state that usually swings Republican, then that's where your vote is going to fall. It's going to fall under the Republican. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think I'm explaining it right, but yet I don't think I'm explaining it right at all.
But no, it is because what the electoral college does is they look at the number of votes that were had, and even if if our electoral college is more Republican, and I'm looking at the numbers, then I'm gonna vote what I think, or vote the political party that I roll with, because it was like 7-4, so that means 3 people didn't vote, or something to that effect. So yeah, if you don't vote, they do.
A no vote is a default vote for the sitting president. Basically, is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And look, I may not be totally politically literate about this, so hey, yo, look it up, Google it. It's on Google. Google it. Look it up and Google it. Start now with your research and Google.
We all got the same.
Okay, and then another thing too is that I want us to realize is that we keep forgetting about how that last election, how Russia was involved in our elections. Do you think they're not doing that again? Do you think that they're not putting up propaganda and memes and getting negative ads out there about these people, about Biden and Harris? Do you think that that's not a campaign that's going on, like a real live hate campaign that's going on right now? And then why do we always fall for the negativity? Like, we can't be positive about nothing. We can't,
No.
like, it's like, well, Barack was in there and he didn't do nothing. Well, when Barack was in there, did you go and vote locally to get more Democrats in there so that they could help Barack to achieve the goals he was trying to achieve? Because he couldn't do anything because the Republicans admitted that they would not help him. We're going to do everything that we can to stop you from doing anything. Wasn't that what Mitch McConnell told him?
Yeah, it was. He said it. He said it to his face. He said it numerous
and on television. And
he's like, my number one goal is to stop anything he puts up. Like, this ain't a basketball game, G.
Like, why is that your number one goal when you supposed to be representing a bunch of people, but you sit up here with these selfish ideologies and my goal. This ain't about you, my G. This is about a whole freaking country. It's about a country. What you mean you gonna stop him? Your personal goal is to stop him at the expense of me? Fuck you.
Right. But his base that he represents, they were all for it. They was cheering him on like, yeah, that's what we want. Until things started happening where Obama was putting stuff up that was going to benefit them, and Mitch McConnell was, knocking it down and fighting. And now they're like, wait. We don't want you to knock everything down because this was going to help us. Well, you told me, and this is what I said, and this is what I stand on. So, yeah, they got, unfortunately, in any situation, the poor people get screwed over anyway, because we don't have any capital. We don't have any political power because we don't have any monetary power. So we really have to make sure when we vote locally, especially, that, like you said, we're researching candidates. We're voting for people that are going to, help us as much as they can. I mean, their hands are going to be tied, to a point where they're not going to be able to put everything through. But at least they can put enough stuff through, or they can, reach across the aisle and get, some of the other Republicans to see, hey, these things are needed and they are valued, by this group of people. We need to start taking care of everybody, not just the richest 1%, not just the celebrities or the people.
Yeah, we're not just catering to black people when we need them to vote for us every 4 years. That's the only time we get acknowledged is when they need our votes. And that's another thing, like, if don't nothing else tell you how important the black vote is, I swear to God, this should open up somebody's eyes, because like, again, we come back to, today was not about, they wasn't trying to pick a black person, period, much less a black woman, a black girl, good gravy. And Trump is livid.
Yeah.
They livid. They mad. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to attack her because she don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't know how to attack her because she don't have no, like, she ain't really ran on nothing before. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, it is out of the blue. It is something that they won't prepare for. The only thing they can say about her is that she's mean and she's nasty and she's too ambitious.
But is she mean, she's nasty, and she's too ambitious because she's black?
No, she's mean and nasty and too ambitious because she's a woman.
Well,
she's too ambitious. No, she's too ambitious because she's
of the angry black woman. So no.
But you know what? No, you do have a point there, because Trump only calls black women nasty and angry. Mm-hmm. You're right about that. Trump only calls black women nasty and angry. That's what he does to all the reporters that he don't like when the reporters ask him questions.
Oh yeah.
And stuff. Yeah, the black women are nasty and angry, but women in general, he got an issue with.
Yeah. He didn't get enough hugs as a baby.
And I can't understand these people, because I was looking on Facebook today and they was talking about how Biden is a pedophile. And I'm like, are y'all serious? Like, do y'all have amnesia? Did y'all forget that Trump's best friend was a sex trafficking pedophile? Mm-hmm. Did y'all forget that before he was elected, he has settled out of court with multiple women for massive amounts of money, 2 of which claim they were underage when they were introduced to him by Jerry Epstein at Epstein's home.
Yep. He was a frequent flyer on his private plane to his private island.
but we don't remember these things now. 4 years later, we don't forgot about all that. We don't remember none of that.
Yeah, we forgave him because there wasn't no evidence, so we forgave him.
Man, whatever.
So as we wrapping this up,
are we wrapping it up already?
Yep.
I got so much stuff written down.
I know. We have to do a part 2.
We're gonna have to do a part 2 because I'm telling you, I got stuff written here. I was doing some research. Like, come on, man, what is happening?
So you already, kind of told us what the self-care assignment was for the day, which is so funny that you worked it in already. You talking about me tying it in a bow. You already did. So
but in case y'all missed it, listen, open your mind, research your candidates, and then vote accordingly. And if there's a candidate that you like, support them. Look, people, without money, we can't do nothing. If all you got is $5, $10, give it. Give that $5, that $10 to your local candidate so that they can get the ball rolling. Because the people that we need in Congress can't get in Congress because they can't get the donations that they need to run the campaigns that they need to run. That's why we can't get good people up in there, because all that evil money is up in there. All that lobbyist money and all them evil motherfuckers with all that cash is sitting up there right now. So if we, the righteous people, really want to see change, we got to support that change with money. Money talk. They do. Money talk. We got to start giving these people money so they can get to where we need them to be. We need them to be up there. So we got to pay their way.
I agree. So, as always, we got the brain science behind it all. So, this is the fascinating ways that your brain changes how you vote. What? So, we already know that the importance of voting is something that people have fought and died for, for many years. Our ancestors, what do they call them? White sympathizers, who also, feel our pain. So, here are some surprising ways that appearance affects voting. So we like to think that who we vote for is based on personal or political beliefs. But in reality, that's not the way voting works. Your brain tricks you into liking candidates who look like the best leaders, regardless of whether or not they actually are. So researchers were curious about how big a role facial appearances are when it comes to voting. So it says that just by looking at pictures and knowing nothing about the candidates, people correctly guess the winner 68.8% of the time just based on their facial expressions. They were looking for things that make a person look trustworthy, a person that looks honest, and a person looks like they share your same ideologies, even if they really don't. So basically,
Trump don't look like none of that.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Not at all.
But maybe because he looked like a white supremacist. Well, okay, my bad.
Okay.
My bad, white nationalist.
So your personality shapes how your political opinions more than you realize. Specifically, we're looking for 2 traits: openness, which means how much we like new ideas, imagination, and trying new things, and conscientiousness, so how organized we are, how much we like details and plans. So those things influence the way we vote as well. Liberals are more open-minded. Conservatives are more conscientious. Liberals are more likely to be high open with low conscientiousness. Conservatives are more likely to be highly conscientious and low open. And so that tells us a lot about the candidates themselves. What do you value? What do you think about? What do we as people value? And we pick the candidates based on that. So they asked 3 questions. There are three key questions that predict how you will vote and what your political stance is. The first question is, how easily disgusted are you? The second one, do you prefer things to be simple or complex? 3, are you open to exploration? Are you open to new ideas? So, if you watch speeches and you watch interviews, observe the facial expressions and body language to look for signs of dishonesty. Most people are impressed by politicians in this way, by how they look when it comes to being trustworthy or not. So it says, stop letting your brain trick you by reading speeches and voting records of candidates to decide if you like them. This way, instead of being impressed by politicians who are the best on stage, you can vote for the ones who support the same issues that you do.
I'm hoping, because I can't understand how the Cheeto got up there if that's what we doing.
Well, according to brain science, yeah, that is a phenomenon. But maybe he paid his way in, and that's why he got there. That's how he got there. I mean, he does have a base. I mean, he does have some people out there that think, act, and believe, that he is the Messiah and he is the great one. We just don't.
I'm really hoping that is a dwindling minority. You know what I'm saying? And because this, like, we going through what we have been going through, this is ridiculous. This last couple of months, this ridiculous right here. The whole situation is, this man needs to be brought up on charges of mass murder. Like, he really do. Like, when he gets out of office, before he get out of office, first of all, they need to put him out of office. And he needs to be brought up on charges of mass murder. Because this is absolutely ridiculous.
I agree. So if you feel like us, get out and vote, do some research on your candidate. You can always follow us as we do our research on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your favorite podcast. And of course, you can email us at flywithusla@gmail.com. I'm Lady Bounce.
I'm Pretty Night, y'all. And listen, y'all go to the polls and y'all help people register. Y'all help take people to the polls and vote, and volunteer at the post office, because that man is trying to dismantle the U.S. Postal Service, and that's absolutely ridiculous. We need to prove that he can lose anyway, regardless of how bad he cheats.
I like it. We out.
Deuces, y'all.